Hey y'all, welcome back to Mrs. Lynn's Cooking. Today we're going to make lasagna. All you will need is minced onions, Parmesan cheese, mild cheddar cheese, mozzarella. I use Classico spaghetti sauce, lasagna noodles, Italian seasoning, spinach, and I use ground chuck. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we put our ground beef in a pot. We're going to just add to it, I'm going to do about a quarter cup of minced onions. We put this over the top of your hamburger meat. And it's going to be about a quarter cup. And then you're going to take about 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning. And you're just going to sprinkle that on top. And then once it starts to sizzle, then we're just going to start mixing it all together. Okay, now our meat is starting to sizzle. So once it starts to sizzle, we're just going to go ahead and just stir it up. We're going to make this like we would do just a simple spaghetti sauce. Is all it's going to be. So we're going to get it. Whoops, I made a mess. And that happens. Excuse me. But we're just going to make a simple spaghetti sauce. And you just want to stir it till your meat is done and completely cooked through and through. Okay, my ground beef is cooking with the Italian seasonings and with the minced onions. We're going to keep cooking this until it's well done. And we're going to actually cook the grease out of the meat itself. You'll have a little bit in there, but the biggest majority of it, you're going to cook all your meat until it's almost dry. Okay, I've got my pasta, which is my lasagna noodles. I've put it in to where it covers up with water, and then I add a little bit of salt to it. And we're going to cook it for about maybe 12 to 13 minutes. We kind of want it soft. Okay, you see that the meat is done, and there's just very little grease in the bottom of it. I had used round chuck is what I used. And now at this point, we're just going to add our spaghetti sauce to it. And we'll add that to it. And then we're going to add a little bit of water to our jars so that it can get all the spaghetti sauce out of it. But yes, there's just a little bit of grease in the bottom, and that's what we want. Because that grease, once we put it down for our lasagna, what's going to happen is that our meat is going, or the grease is going to actually absorb it all to where you don't have to use any type of spray on the bottom of your pan. And we're just going to let this cook till it gets warm for now. Okay, now we are going to add our fresh spinach to this mixture. You don't have to use spinach, but my family likes spinach in their spaghetti sauce. So I'm going to add the spinach to it. And the sauce is pretty much done. So we're just going to add in our spinach so it's nice and wilted. And then we're going to put the lid right back over the top of it and let it cook down. And the reason I'm doing this so slow is because every time I cook with spaghetti sauce, I end up wearing it. So I'm trying not to wear it this time. And then I'm going to add the remainder of my spinach. And then put my lid back on. And we're just going to let it cook down for maybe 5 minutes, if that. But you could see how it's starting to wilt nicely. Okay. Okay, we have got our spaghetti sauce done. We have our noodles cooked. I went ahead and I cut my noodles in half because I'm using a smaller pan. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your spaghetti sauce and we're going to put some in the bottom. That way that way it doesn't stick. And that's the only reason we're doing the spaghetti sauce on the bottom to start off, is so it doesn't stick. And all we're going to do from this point forward is just layer it back and forth. We are not using ricotta. We are just using mozzarella and cheddar cheese because, like I said, my family doesn't care for ricotta. I love it, but they don't. So that's okay. And we're just going to lay our pasta like so. And then we're going to take the mozzarella cheese, which is a pretty big bag of it. And we're just going to put the pasta, or the mozzarella, over the top of the pasta. And after we do the mozzarella, then we take our mild cheddar. And we're just going to do a little bit of mild cheddar over the top of that. And then after we do this, we're going to take and we're going to put our sauce again over the top of this. And we're just going to keep layering it all the way through. I've used a shallower dish. You can make it as thick as you want. I like it shallower. It cooks a little bit faster that way, especially when you've got somebody at home and they're really super hungry and ready to eat. So we're just going to do that. And then we're going to take, like I said, our noodles, and we're going to layer it again. And it's just going to be layered back and forth. And I do cook the noodles ahead of time. You can buy the stuff that you don't cook and just do it like that as well. But I would rather have the one, I like it. That way I control how I cook my pasta. And then with that, the back to the mozzarella cheese. And I'm going to end up doing a couple of pans with this because I do have small pans. And it does great if you want to just take it and freeze one of them. Just wrap it with foil and freeze it. And after it cools off, you just put it in the freezer and freeze it. Okay? Now, put some more spaghetti sauce. And to make it is not that hard. It's just a little bit time consuming because of the layering. And once I get this sauce on here, then I'm going to take my Parmesan cheese. After I get through doing this, put my Parmesan on here with a little bit more cheese of mozzarella, cheddar, and then Parmesan. And then we're going to stick it in a 375-degree oven. And we're just going to bake it until it is, the cheese is melted, because the rest of it is already cooked. So we're just pretty much just melting cheese. That's all we're doing. And then I'll take a little bit more of my cheddar, sprinkle that over the top. And then I'm going to come in with my little bit of, I like Parmesan cheese. So I'm going to take Parmesan. And this gives it a little bit more of a crust. And I guess that's the reason I like it like that. And then we're just going to stick it in the oven until it melts. Okay, our lasagna is done. It's out of the oven. So all we need to do is let it cool. I'd say let it cool about 5 minutes before you cut into it. And make sure that when you do cook your lasagna, you put a pan underneath it. That way, if it spills over, it spills into the pan. Okay, we have cut our lasagna. We've plated it up. And this is what it looks like. If you like my video, please like and subscribe.